Hey everybody, welcome back to Bar Run Forge. It's Troy and it's time for another video. But right now, we really got to get our hustle on. Stick around. A couple of years ago, we acquired a piece of equipment here on the farm called a Bean Hustler. Now I'm going to show you that here in just a second. And the purpose of the Bean Hustler is basically a vacuum. So we will put a seed tender or a seed tote on the wagon. There will be a pump or a vacuum mechanism up front. And in the middle there will be a pedestal that swings around on a post with a hose attached to it, so we can fill up our drill or our planter at any time. It's a lot safer, a lot easier, more convenient. The other thing that allows us to do is to go in and vacuum out the planter and clean it out, or some other wagon or something like that that we need to clean out. That'll help us tremendously, keep us from crawling in and out of stuff and taking a little bit more risk. But I'm going to show you that piece of equipment, and then we'll go from there and kind of set up the plan. First part I want to show you is the wagon in which we're going to put it on. This is an old running gear that we got basically out of the grass, out of the weeds from a friend of ours. You can see the tongue needs straightened out a little bit, needs new tires, and it's a little on the rougher side, but it's going to do what we need it to do. And I've got this tube steel. This is a 2x6 tube steel, 1/8 inch wall, and we're going to use that for the framing. And we need about 9 feet. So from one end of that piece right there to the end of that piece right there is about 9 feet. As you can see, we'll have to cut off a little bit of the upright standards right there to make it all level across. And then we'll do some cross bracing, cross framing. Going to be a lot of welding on this project. Fairly simple, straightforward project. But the thing I want to show you is back here, and it's a little bit on the covered up side. Now here's most of the pieces to this piece of equipment. The main thing that you see right there, along with the hose and the vacuum funnel, as you can see right there, Bean Hustler. That's the brand of this particular item. It works off of a gas motor, creates a vacuum, and that piece will sit on the front of the wagon. And then there's this mast. You can see the frame to it and the mast, and that mast holds this piece right here with the boom arm, and that swings around with the hoses, all the other hoses on it, and that allows us to vacuum the seed out of a seed tote or anywhere else, and then put it onto either the planter or the grain drill or into another wagon or whatever we need it to go into. And what we'll be able to do is to take one of these seed totes right here. One of these seed totes will be able to go right on the back, and that has a pull funnel basically on it. And so from the front, with the box up here, we'll be able to grab a hold of that handle, open up the funnel, and let out soybeans or corn or whatever it is we have. The mast will sit in the center, and then it'll be connected to the vacuum pump up front to make all the vacuum. And then from the center, we'll be able to take that mast and that hose and go to whatever piece of equipment we have. So I got to get it all set up. It's going to be some welding, going to be some paint, going to be some moving equipment around. And like I said, eventually we'll need to put new tires on this piece of equipment. But this is going to be great for us so that we can make it a little bit safer, easier to load seed on our drill and in our planter. All right, we have all of our pieces cut up and kind of laid out. We've marked. I'll show some of the markings, kind of go around and show where our layout is done. And we've marked in order of the welds we want to do. So there are certain welds that we want to do in a certain order so that we can get into certain spots. So this is all very much for a reason. So I'm going to do this front one. I'll show a couple other welds, probably in time lapse. We'll tack everything in place, and then we'll throw the beads of weld on those, and then we'll move on to the next weld. So one of the things I wanted to show you was our order of weld. And the reason why I wanted to do that was to give you an indicator of kind of how to set things up. Again, I'm not a professional welder. This is what I do on the farm. I'm a farm welder. but I've set this frame up in this way. So you can see, this is our first weld. That's weld number 1 to weld the 2 front pieces. We've got those tacked in. And then I want to go to the back, and we're welding number 2. So we'll weld that in. Weld number 2 is to get the corners of the frames all welded in. We'll try to square that up and make sure everything's good and square, and then we'll finish those welds in. Now, the cross pieces, you would think would be 3 and 4, but we've got the mast to go in here, and that's a pretty beefy piece, so I want to be able to get inside here and get good solid welds. So you can see what I've got. I've got weld number 5 and weld number 12. So that's kind of interesting that we've got it in that kind of order. We can see that we've got the welds all laid out. So all these welds come in later on after we get the mast put in. So you've already seen weld number 2 and 3. So weld number 3, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So when the mast goes in, we'll do 3 and 4. On the other side, we'll do 5 and 6. And we'll weld the mast in. After that's done, we can come back here, and our cross pieces, 7, we'll go across to 8, we'll come back here to 9, go across to 10. Then we've got 2 outside pieces. These are extra braces on the outside to support the seed toad. So that is weld number 11. On the other side, weld number 12. And then everything will be welded in. So the mast is welded in. Now we need to put in the 2 side braces, and then we'll add some gussets and some other pieces from there and be done. After all the framing is done, we're going to put in some gussets just for some reinforcement. We've cut those at 45 degrees, allow them to go into the corners. The frame is completely welded up. We've got the mast in, we've got one of the stoppers. The only thing we really have to do at this point is to put some corner stoppers on for when we put the tote on. We'll show you that in a little bit. Just make a few adjustments and then we'll make the attachment of the frame to the running gear. And then we'll start putting things on and hooking everything up. Not completely set up, but got the mast on. Haven't kind of clamped all the hoses and everything yet. Got some new tires, got the frame bolted on, got the vacuum mechanism on here. Probably what we're gonna do is get some 2x2 square tubing in here and fill up that gap. It sits on there okay. We'll have to do the same thing on the front. But as you can tell, it's electric start. Got a Vanguard 18 horse motor, Briggs & Stratton. And so you start it up and then it's got all the vacuum mechanisms. We'll, like I said, we'll get all that plugged in and hoses in the right direction, give it a dry run. And then it's got the remote electrical connection right there. Power that up. And it's got a fuse box right there. And then you can swing this arm kind of wherever you need it. And it's got about a 20 foot boom on it, so plenty of room. seed vac is assembled. We've had a test run done on it. Everything seems to work really, really well. This is exciting. This is an absolute game changer for us. A big thing that happens here is this helps us with safety, time, effort, energy. This is going to really make a big difference. We are so glad that you guys came in and joined us for this video, and we're glad when you come in and watch any of our videos here at Bar Run Forge. Thank you guys so much. God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.